Oh boy. Now let me see. Let me see if I'm up and running here. How many we got out there? If we got anybody on the stream, go ahead and put a little comment in the chat there. I think we're rolling. I do think we are rolling. So here's the deal. I had this going before. I ran into a little bit of a technical difficulty, so I had to stop my stream, had to restart it. For all the ones of you that are out there, if you watched that presidential debate, first of all, I thought it was very interesting. Joe Biden literally got up and he just played all the hits. Charlottesville. What other things did he? January 6th that the people that they killed cops. They killed people. I mean, Joe Biden literally got up and he just lied. I couldn't, I couldn't really believe that Joe Biden had the gall, that he had the that he had the unmitigated gall to get on live television in front of probably, 70 million people and say out of his mouth, hey, Charlottesville, Donald Trump said there were very fine people on both sides. He said that the Nazis, the white supremacists were very fine people. I find that so utterly flabbergasting. Flabbergasting, that's not a word. So frustrating. I think I wanted to say I was flabbergasted and it was frustrating. So flabbergasting, that's a new word that I just invented. I'm at a loss for words for how egregious some of the things that Joe Biden said that have been debunked for years that he just keeps saying and he can continue to say without getting checked. But here's the thing that this is the real story of this whole debate. The real story of this whole debate is this. That was a complete and total setup, because now that I watch the post debate analysis where I'm watching Democrat after Democrat absolutely panic and throw Joe Biden under the bus, saying, "Oh, now it's time to panic. Oh, that was a horrible performance. He looked weak. He looked old. He looked flustered." I'm just like, that's what he's been looking like the last 4 years. Like, what are y'all even talking about? And then they tried to tell us that we weren't seeing what we were seeing. They had a whole thing. What did they started calling it? Cheap fake. The whole thing where Barack Obama had to basically help him off the stage because he was kind of spacing out, or when they were at that international event overseas, and he started just kind of walking off and spacing off, looking at the paragliders or the parachuters, like he didn't know where he was, and he had to be redirected by the one female, and they're like, "Oh, the Republicans are lying, and this is bad faith." And now, then he gets up on this presidential debate and does exactly what he's been doing the last 4 years. And now they're going, "Oh my gosh, this is horrible. This is time to panic." It just reeks of a complete and total setup. This, to me, is just like, this is exactly what they had planned the whole time. They've been wanting to dump Joe Biden the whole time, and they couldn't do that. And now they're going to try to use this absolutely pathetic performance that he had in the debate. Now they're going to try to use that to be like, "Hey, now's our time to dump him." And I'm just like, what changed? What changed? I'm telling you, the whole thing is a scam. And if you are a Joe Biden guy, if you're a Democrat right now, it is impossible for me to understand how you can have any confidence in the Democrat Party, because they literally did like a 180-degree turn on Joe Biden, like Joe Biden did something new tonight. He didn't. This is who Joe Biden is. This is who he has been for the last 5 years, and now they're panicking. I have to let you see this, because this is absolutely incredible. This is absolutely incredible. I really am fascinated by this. So we're going to listen in on CNN and them absolutely losing their minds like this was new.
Scot-free tonight by any stretch. But look, there is no two ways about it. That was not a good debate for Joe Biden.
Ben? That was painful. I love Joe Biden. I work for Joe Biden. He didn't do well at all. He did not do well at all. And he looked, I'll give you the analysis, kind of have the old man versus the con man. I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can. But he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now. We're still far from our convention, and there is time for this party to figure out a different way forward if he will allow us to do that. But that was not what we needed from Joe Biden, and it's personally painful for a lot of people. It's not just panic, it's pain for what we saw tonight.
And if I may just add to that, I think Joe Biden...
I'm sorry. This is incredible. Like, are you serious? Hang on a second. I can't believe it. They really do think you are dumb. They really do think you're dumb. Now all of a sudden we have to allow the Democrat Party to go in another direction. Everyone's known this for like 2 years. I really can't. I really cannot with these people. Like, I can't believe that they have the gall to do this. I really can't. Van Jones there, he's saying, now all of a sudden you're seeing the light. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me and listen to me good. This is a scam. This was their plan the whole time. This political theater. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I watched Joe Biden. He looked frail. He looked weak. His voice was weak. He stumbled. He's been doing that for 4 years once again. Why all of a sudden now is it cause for concern? Just ask yourself that. Let's listen to these people indict themselves with their dishonest buffoonery.
Lost in the first 3 minutes. I think a lot of voters probably tuned out, and millions of people are having conversations with their families, with their friends, of if the president is up to the task and if he should step aside. And I'm someone who believes the former president is a threat to democracy. I think he is a threat to the...
Okay, I just have to say, this pathetic lady from the View, threat to democracy, this sort of thing, it blows my mind. I really do think, I'm sorry, if you believe in the Democrat Party's garbage, this line that they've been feeding us for the last 4 years, Donald Trump's a threat to democracy. It's like a mantra that they just repeat over and over again. And it just shows you how well-oiled the Democrat Party machine is. They have all this approved language. It's all the earmarks of propaganda. And they just take a phrase and they just repeat it over and over and over and over. And it gets so deep into your subconscious that you buy into it. You adopt it like it's your own. A threat to democracy, that doesn't mean anything. The man was in the White House for 4 years. Everyone did better when he was there. And when he lost, after he exhausted legal means to challenge what happened, he left. And he came back and fought for the presidency again, soon to be the 47th president. if he's such a threat to democracy, like all of these morons, yes, I'm going to do a video one of these days on the virtue of name calling, because I think it's a lost art. Everybody thinks, I don't want to get too bogged down, but this threat to democracy nonsense, it really is. It just gets under my skin, and this pathetic lady should be ashamed of herself.
America as we know it. He wants to fundamentally change our institutions. He has laid out what his plan is. I am not confident that that is the man to take him on. You cannot tell me democracy is on the line and then give that performance tonight. If based on that, in
Democracy is on the
weeks,
line
Donald
from
Trump
Joe
will be
Biden, from
the president-elect.
Democrat lunatics like
the
this.
people doing focus groups tonight, and we'll see if our style group with Laura Coates confirms this, say that Biden actually scores pretty well on the issues when he's talking about the substance. And Trump's numbers went down both because he was ducking questions, he was lying about some things, and he was refusing to answer. And some of it was the tone. They don't like it.
He was lying about some things. Listen to these people. Listen to how desperate and pathetic they are. Joe Biden literally said, Donald Trump said, there were good people on both sides from Charlottesville. That's been debunked for like 4 years. Let me see here. I think I got something on my camera here. This is a little unconventional here. All right. I just, the sheer hubris of these people is just incredible.
So when you see that, when you see sort of the statistics, you're going to look at like, oh, that's a mixed bag. But to Vance's point about the president's performance, that's what caused the panic. So the question is, and my question actually is, what happens? Because it's a great political strength of Joe Biden is his resilience and his stubbornness. Yeah. It's also sometimes a blind spot because he is so stubborn. It's going to be very hard to someone, and I don't know who it is, who could go to Joe Biden and say, you need to do this, number one. And the question is, again, like, I'm just telling you, to Abby's point, I've been doing this for 30-something years, going on 40 years, and I have never, ever had what happened on this thing tonight happen in the middle of a debate. It started early, and it continued. And to Van's point, Van made a very important point. These are people who love Joe Biden, who credit Joe Biden for kicking Donald Trump out of the White House. They're Democrats. The Democratic Party is a very diverse party. It fights about a lot of things. It has generational issues. It's had regional issues and everything else. The thing that unites the Democratic Party is trying to keep Donald Trump from getting back into the White House. They love Joe Biden for kicking him out. They don't want him back. They came into this debate nervous that Biden was in a weak position. They leave this debate panicked.
John, if you love the guy, how could you put him out there?
I just have to say, this is so coordinated. This is such a bad acting job. It's such a bad acting job. They're like, oh, I can't, I'm so panicked. I defy a single one of you. By the way, if you're watching right now, go ahead and put a little heart in the chat here. I just want to know. I like to know I'm talking to real people here. Just go ahead and put a heart in the chat, put a thumbs up, do something. Just go ahead and do that for me real quick. Matter of fact, go ahead and like this video. The more you do that, it'll push it out to other people. So go ahead and put a little something here for you. Here, I'll start it off here. Mom of 6. Thank you, Mama of 6. Thank you, good people. I appreciate you guys. Yeah. I just really am flabbergasted. And I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. Do you think that this is a scam? Does this feel genuine to you? If you watched this debate and you came away thinking, wow, Joe Biden seemed radically more frail and significantly weak. This is a totally, like, we've been seeing Joe Biden look one way, and now he came out tonight and he looks totally different, totally unfit. I don't understand if you thought that tonight means that he's totally unfit to run for president and make it across the finish line. If that's what you came away tonight with, but you didn't think that before, I don't understand what he did to make you think that. Because it's so obvious that nothing's really changed. Okay, let's let them continue to indict themselves.
If you love him, if you love Joe Biden, if that was my father, you don't put a guy in that situation.
It's a great point. These guys know this better. These guys know this better because they talk to them. There's this legacy in the Democratic Party. You don't challenge the incumbent because when it's happened in the past, they haven't beaten the incumbent, and then the incumbent has lost the general election.
It was actually Donald Trump that helped make Joe Biden the nominee because there was a feeling that if there were a primary, that would weaken, that Biden would probably win, but it would weaken him in a general election. And so there were people who could have run and didn't run because the history of that is bad. The point is now he is the nominee of the Democratic Party. This isn't the 60s, okay? Voters choose the nominee. He is the nominee. Only he can decide whether he's going to continue. And as you point out, and as Kate knows very well, this is a guy with a lot of pride and who believes in himself. And the idea that he's going to say, you know what, I had a bad debate. I think I'm going to walk away from this. I find it hard to believe.
It was also, and I'll let you, I know, Scott, you've been trying to jump in, but it was also, it was an atypically bad performance, okay? And it was also one night. So yes, was it an important night? Yes.
This is what I dispute. An atypically bad performance? I'm sorry, I dispute that. Everything that I saw from Joe Biden is exactly what I've been seeing from him for the last 4 years. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. Okay. Let me know in the chat if you disagree. Maybe I'm biased. But to me, this feels exactly like what I've always been seeing.
Yes, but it was one night in the course of a campaign. So I think let's see how voters react to it. Let's see how voters react to it.
The problem with the one night is that it's a one night that helped confirm people's fears. Yeah. It's the one night that everybody was watching. That was essentially, Trump said, you ought to take a test. That was his test. And people are going to feel that he came up wanting, not on the substance. I think he actually won on the substance. I don't think Trump did well. I think what it says to a lot of people.
There again, this is complete propaganda. He won on the substance? How did he win on the substance? Joe Biden is at a 37% approval rating. This is incredible. He's got one of the worst approval ratings at this point in the history of our nation. No one with as low an approval rating as Joe Biden has ever actually won as an incumbent. So just think about that. These people are telling you, once again, I don't understand how you can believe anything that they say. Because on the one hand, all of the stuff we've been talking about Joe Biden's his senility, his inability to complete a sentence, his meandering thoughts, not really rambling on about nonsense. They've been telling us that we haven't been seeing that. Now he does it tonight, and all of a sudden they see the light. So then why should we believe what they're saying when they say that he won on the substance? It's because this whole thing is theatrics. It's a show. This is not about people giving their honest opinions. This is about them in their coordinated effort to move Joe Biden aside, but to not have people lose confidence in the Democrat Party platform, despite the inflation, despite the pathetic borders, despite the lack of respect that people have for us militarily, the fact that the Afghanistan, I'm so glad Donald Trump hammered on that. In Afghanistan and the debacle that was emboldened Vladimir Putin. It emboldened all of our enemies across the world. I'm sure that they don't want to talk about that. They want to pretend that Joe Biden did well on the substance. This is nonsense.
People, a lot of active Democrats says, man, we can beat this guy, but I don't know if we can beat him with the president.
Scott, we haven't heard from you.
When we came on before this debate, I said I thought this candidacy was teetering. And everybody jumped on me.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Every single person out here. And I just, the candidacy has fallen, okay? Man, I know you're speaking from your heart. I'm worried about the president. We should pray for the president. I think his advisors, I think the White House, and I think his family have a lot of explaining to do to their party and to the American people.
We've been saying that
this one night, was caused by and asked for by the Biden team. They wanted this night.
Yeah, we've been saying that
And
for
this
3
is what
years.
we got. We've
4
been
years.
told for weeks by Democrats who say, oh, in private meetings,
No, we've been saying that for 4 years. We've said that back when Joe Biden ran the first time. Now all of a sudden they're seeing the light. Just don't buy it.
seen Joe Biden do cartwheels and handstands while doing trigonometry while solving all the nation's problems. We now know that every single person who said that has been lying to the American people.
including Kevin McCarthy.
Of course
We've
they're
been
lying.
told, Kate,
I mean, I'm just saying.
everything we've been told about his mental acuity by these Democrats has been a lie, and everything we think we knew has been confirmed. I got a text from a friend. She's not terribly political. She'd maxed out to Biden in the last election because she hates Donald Trump. She said to me, I will never forgive the Democratic Party.
And by the way, the only thing that unites the Democrat Party is hatred for Donald Trump. Irrational hatred. You know, the sort of hatred they have for Donald Trump is personal. Just think about it. It's really weird. How can 70-something million people, 60 or whatever, whoever voted for Biden or whatever, whoever the Democrat Party is, how can they hate Donald Trump and they don't know him? How can they hate him with such a personal hate? I thought that Barack Obama was a disastrous and awful president, but I don't hate him. I don't know Barack Obama. If I knew him, he'd probably be a cool guy. Donald Trump, for the people who are not deranged, most people love him. He's electric. People gloat. They just gloat about how he lights up a room, how he takes such personal interest in you. If he's talking to you, he makes you feel like you're the only person there. And they always talk about Donald Trump like he's inhuman. These people have no substance. Anyway.
For this election, if the Democrats truly believe that he is an existential threat to democracy, and that's not just some talking point, they will wake up in the morning and they will do something else because this is not sustainable.
That's another point about there are Democrats who are panicking, and then there are a lot of Republicans who did not want to vote for Donald Trump, who do not want to vote for Donald Trump, who are also panicking tonight. I heard from one who said, this is scary. That's how it was described to me. And
I'd second that.
There were a lot. There was a lot. There
Listen
were
to the
a lot of
emotional
those
language.
feelings, not just from
This is the stuff that propaganda. This is not proper analysis. What's so scary about a Donald Trump presidency? No wars, cheap gas, a booming economy? Because that's exactly what happened the last time he was president. What's so scary about it? Oh, wait, January 6th. All right, yeah, like January 6th was worse than any of a dozen complete and outright, societal chaos created by left-wing lunacy. You can take any of the major cities, the Minneapolis, Atlanta. You can take Kenosha, Wisconsin. You can go Seattle. You can go Portland, Oregon. And any of those riots, any of those absurd, just unhinged anarchist, events makes January 6th seem like a peaceful protest.
the base of the party, but other people who really think that there should be an alternative to Trump, who they think is dangerous. And that's the other part of what is unfolding tonight in terms of the panic that is out there.
Guys,
You already have, coming into this debate, support for third-party candidates, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. highest, and then Jill Stein and Cornel West nowhere near as close. But if you add it all up, you get into the teens in most states when you do that. I think one byproduct out of this is watch and see if those numbers go up a little bit. I'm not saying they're going to go up anywhere like a Perot standard, but you get to third-party candidates getting into double digits, then that's really starts to twist your electoral math state depending on who they're drawing from state by state.
Guys,
this was already a very complicated race. This is within. Number one, the biggest complication right now is the conversation with the Democratic Party. But the other complication is going to be if Joe Biden stays put, and Kate's right, maybe there'll be another debate. I'm not sure Donald Trump's going to agree to a second debate. Biden's going to need it now. I'm not sure Trump's going to agree to it if the dynamics of the race change.
They'll never
and I would
meet
also
again.
watch the third party.
I
They'll never meet
just
again.
want to say one thing.
Yeah.
especially to you two guys, if for whatever reason there's a change at the top of the ticket, you guys are in trouble with Donald Trump, because the guy who was up there tonight is not a guy who's going to inspire people. He did not show in any way that he has changed from the guy who people don't have a very positive opinion of for a lot of good reasons.
I think Donald Trump won several policy exchanges tonight. I think he did well on immigration. I think he did well on the economy. I think he did well on inflation. I think he went back to Afghanistan as he should have. The thing he did not do was, after he realized that he had Biden beaten on policy and on image, he should have turned the page and sounded an optimistic note about what we can become as a people and as a country. He did not do that. He continued to pummel Joe Biden all night. I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the night, very few things about the policy exchanges is going to be remembered. People are going to remember Joe Biden. They're going to remember him shuffling out. They're going to remember him staring blankly into the camera. They're going to remember him looking down, losing his train of thought. And they're going to remember that everything I thought I knew, but the White House told me don't believe my own eyes, is actually true.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I said, Scott, was if Joe Biden were not the candidate, if there was another candidate, I think Donald Trump would be in deep trouble.
Actually, you guys had the chance.
See, and this is the whole. This is my point. This is their whole objective for this thing. If there were another president, if there were another candidate, Donald Trump would be in trouble. Oh wait, it just so happens we might have a candidate waiting in the wings, which they're going to announce in the next couple of weeks. They're just trying to lay the groundwork for the stupid people. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. But I do think that that's a valid claim, because I think stupid is a moral deficiency, not an aptitude one. There are people who want to believe these people's lies, and they're just teeing it up.
If I may, that is such a sad state of affairs. Something I was consistently hearing is, what a bad debate, in the sense that Donald Trump lied throughout. He misrepresented. He tried to turn away from key points that he should have given answers on, and kept.
Can you imagine the gall of these people talking about Donald Trump lying, and not one of them, every single person on this panel knows that the Charlottesville, very good people, very fine people on both sides, is a lie. Every one of them knows it, and not one of them has said so. And then she's like the third dingbat that I've heard talk about Donald Trump lying. It's incredible.
Kept deflecting. With any normal generic Democrat next to him, I don't think he would have won the night. But you put somebody who was suffering from the moment that they got out, it was hard to watch. I had to occasionally look away because it was so uncomfortable. I think America deserves better than the options that are in front of them. It's really devastating. And by the way, our allies are watching.
Yeah, look, I mean, the way that I would try to phrase it if I were less emotional is Biden stuttered, but he told the truth. He looked terrible. His policies were good. Trump spoke plainly, but he lied the whole time. And he looked good, but his policies were terrible. I mean, he's going to do nothing on climate change. He was hugging the cactus on abortion. I mean, his policies are terrible. So you have somebody who probably shouldn't.
I'm just curious. Can someone tell me, of all of the times they talked about him lying, right? Donald Trump lying. Have they made an actual, have they quoted him on anything and presented anything counter? They just keep saying he's lying. And this is why I just have to wonder, is the CNN watcher, is the CNN person, the person that watches CNN, are they really that dumb? Are they really that gullible? They just keep saying he's lying. I would like to know, what did he lie about? I just want to hear it. They're at such a place of depravity and just outright just continuing to paint Donald Trump as some inhuman monster that they can just say things and they don't even have to demonstrate the truthfulness of it. Okay, if Donald Trump lied, that's fine. Let's hear what he lied about. I like to hear it. This is like the fifth time someone said all he did was lie, and they haven't pointed out a single lie that he actually told, a specific one, which is quite typical. All right.
Be president, and you have somebody who cannot be president in terms of what Donald Trump represents. So we have a problem as a country now, and this might be an opportunity for people to come together and figure this out, because neither one of those people right now are inspiring the confidence that they should inspire.
No,
that
your
they can
guy,
do the job in a
your
way that
guy's not
is
inspiring
good for the
confidence.
But young voters
Let
are
me just
up
say
for
this. You guys don't like your guy. We like our guy just fine. Okay? He just said, oh, neither one of them inspires confidence. No, he inspires plenty of confidence. 4 years ago, my life was objectively better. And I'm looking forward to that. Turning that page. Speak for yourself. There again, all of these people do is lie. This is all projection.
for grabs in this election. And I don't know a voter under 30 who would have watched tonight and could say, I have confidence in Joe Biden and casting my vote for 4 more years of Biden.
And this opens the door, by the way, for the conversation about if Joe Biden remains the candidate, you're not voting for Joe Biden. You are voting for President Kamala Harris. Let's be honest. That is where the Trump campaign is going to go with this. They started down this road with an ad they released today. But this conversation about who you're actually casting your vote for, the volume is going to ratchet up. And I got news for you. She's less popular than he is. That is going to be a big problem for the Democrats if this ticket stays the way it is.
Yeah, and to Scott's Democratic friend who maxed out, right? That's the sentiment you're going to hear, I think, from some of my Democratic friends who are texting me saying, I can't believe this is where we are, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to forgive the party for putting in this position.
Look,
on the
I also
lies
think-
about on Donald Trump's lies. I mean, I spent a lot of time thinking about this throughout the debate because, we in the media, I sit in the chair and I fact check Trump all the time, so I know these lies by heart at this point. But people watching from home do not. And Biden's job as the other person on the other side of the stage is to be the one to very quickly dispense with the lies and to shut them down. And I don't think that happened enough times in a coherent way to blunt the fact that Trump was taking a universe that was built on a house of lies and building a whole world.
Once again, no one's actually saying. They keep saying he lied.
Basic subject matters that
for example,
President Biden should have been able to just.
That world that he was able to build, it was not knocked down by the president. That is really at the heart of the problem. He may have won when he was making his discrete policy points, but part of the job on the debate stage is dealing with an opponent like Donald Trump who goes like a mile a minute on things that are not true. And if you don't deal with that,
Abby.
I don't know if no one at home is doing that.
All I want to say is I'm not sure. I don't think you're giving viewers enough credit. I think what they saw was the Trump that they didn't like. And I don't think he did himself a great service tonight.
But
yes, and I also think we should let voters absorb this and see what they say, right? Let's look at the dialogue. Let's look at focus groups. Let's look at where they are next week. We can make our pronouncements, but ultimately voters have to absorb
They're
it.
going to turn your mics off, guys.
Real quickly, on the one thing that that Biden did fact check him on the Charlottesville thing, he was completely wrong. All right, so he's up there talking about Charlottesville and Trump not denouncing the two sides, and Snopes was out last week. 7 months, 7 years too late kind of thing on the deal. And that's the thing Joe Biden's going to fact check him on, something that was proven false.
Okay. Now, finally, somebody actually says that the Charlottesville thing was a lie. How many quote unquote journalists are up here? I'm trying to do my quote unquote, right? Because these people are not journalists. They're just propaganda pieces. So-called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 quote-unquote journalists up there, and 15 minutes into their conversation, they finally say, oh yeah, the Charlottesville thing, that so-called fact check, that's a lie. Snopes, just the other day, came out and said, yeah, that's a lie. Yeah, 7 years too late. Unbelievable.
More with the panel out here. A lot of notable moments, painful moments from tonight, but as we've been talking about, perhaps a single defining one as well, this one early on.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
That was one notable moment.
Oh man, Donald Trump. I don't know, man. You gotta love Trump, dude. Yeah, that's right. You did beat Medicare. You beat it to death. And listen, while they're trying to dehumanize Donald Trump, that was actually quite a gracious moment that Donald Trump, the absolute senility demonstrated by Joe Biden in that moment, and the fact that Donald Trump didn't take an opportunity to pounce on that, he kept it about the issues, is something that Donald Trump should get credit for. He actually did that several times during the debate. Basically, Joe Biden started to become a little bit unhinged, calling him names, calling him a sucker and a loser. There again, that whole lie about supposedly Donald Trump calling a bunch of dead veterans losers. Absolutely no evidence of that. It's a complete and total lie. And here he goes. He's like, hey, you said they're a loser. No, you're a loser. Here is Donald. He been calling Donald Trump names. Donald Trump never responded in kind. And that just shows the desperateness of not only the Democrat Party in general, but Joe Biden specifically. And so what I might end up doing here, let me see here. I may end up actually kind of giving some, looking at Fox News and their coverage of this. But I don't know that I can. I don't know that I can, at least tonight. I just wanted to show basically how the Democrat Party is completely panicking. And there again, this feels like a scam. This feels like it was staged. This feels like this was their plan all along. I'm just not going to be convinced that all of a sudden the Democrat Party sees the light, sees the thing that we've been saying for the last 4 years that's been obvious to anyone with two eyes. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, now I see what you mean. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. It's a scam. And it really is incredible to me how anyone can think that the Democrat Party is in any way, shape, or form that these people are credible. I just don't get it. I mean, I really don't. But in any case, I really am curious to know what your thoughts are about this. I just wanted to get on here, do a quick kind of post-mortem of this debate. I thought, despite the kind of the cynical and the obviously planned dumping on of the Democrats with respect to Joe Biden, despite the theatrics and the bad acting, I do think that overall their analysis of the debate was right. Joe Biden looked bad, and basically Donald Trump's going to be the 47th president, and barring other shenanigans, because I think the Democrats have already shown that they will stop at nothing, that there's nothing that they won't try in order to basically put people in a bad situation. Sorry, it's late at night. And when I say bad situation, obviously, I mean they will lie, cheat, and steal to make sure Donald Trump doesn't become president again. And so we still have to keep, we do have to pray. I do agree with them that we need to pray for Joe Biden. First of all, I want to pray that the men get saved. I don't think he's a particularly I don't think he's a man that I would say is particularly someone that I would have a high degree of confidence that he's going to enter into the kingdom. So that's my first prayer for him. I pray for also, man, that this guy can go off into the sunset and just live his life. He's elderly. He's obviously in decline. He really doesn't need to be doing a job with this sort of high stress and pressure anymore. And I think it's sad what the Democrats are doing to him. I think they're so hungry for power that they're literally abusing this man, and they shouldn't be doing it. But let me know what your thoughts are. I'll be following up in the days to come on this subject, and I appreciate everyone tuning in this late hour. Till next time, good people, God bless you.